Welcome to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? The podcast that dares you to challenge everything you think you know about freedom, self-ownership, and what it really means to take control of your life. I'm your host, Jeff Metric, and if you've ever felt stuck, aimless, or afraid just to step up, this is the podcast for you. Here's the truth that no one's going to tell you about. No one is coming to save you. Not the government, not society, not even the people who love you most. You are the only one who can reclaim your time, your choices, and your purpose. But that means asking the hard questions, thinking for yourself, and embracing what some might call radical self-interest. That kind that makes you stronger, sharper, and ultimately more capable of giving back in a real way. Now, each week we're going to break down the myths and misconceptions about libertarianism, explore the stories of the heavy hitters of this philosophical thought, and some low-key legends in the movement. And it gives you the tools to stop playing small and start moving with conviction. Whether you're here for the philosophy, the politics, or just to figure out how to get your life together without waiting for permission, then you're in the right place. So, question again, are you smarter than a libertarian? Stick around and let's get into it. All right, now we're going to talk about what libertarianism is. First, let's get the core of what libertarianism actually is. Simply put, is a political philosophy centered around individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. Personal freedom. Libertarians believe that people should be free to live their lives as they see fit, as long as they don't infringe on the rights of others. That means supporting personal choices in everything from speech and religion to relationships and lifestyle decisions. I will go into that in another video. Limited government. Government should be minimal, focused on protecting individual rights rather than controlling people's choices. That means less regulation, lower taxes, and getting government out of areas it doesn't belong, like the economy, healthcare, and personal decisions. Free markets. Libertarians, such as myself, advocate for voluntary transactions, competition, and innovation without excessive government interference. That means opposing things like corporate bailouts, government subsidies, and crony capitalism, which everyone wants to blame as real capitalism, which distorts the market and benefits the politically connected at the expense of everyone else. Now, this is where we get into the radical part a little bit, self-ownership and volunteerism. At the heart of libertarianism is the principle of self-ownership, which means that each individual owns themselves and their labor. No one, not the government, a corporation, or another person has a higher claim to your body or your decision than you do. Volunteerism falls from self-ownership, emphasizing that all interactions should be voluntary and free from coercion, whether it's trade, charity, or personal relationships. Libertarians believe that people should engage with one another by choice, not by force or government mandate. Now let's go into some of the myths about what libertarianism isn't. Now that I've laid this foundation out for you, let's bust some of the biggest myths about libertarianism. The first one that is most common is libertarians are just Republicans who want to smoke weed. This is probably the most common misconception we have about us. While many libertarians support drug decriminalization, the philosophy is not just a mix of social liberalism and economic conservatism. Libertarianism is about consistent principles, not just picking and choosing policies from the right or left. This isn't a little column A, a little column B. No. Libertarians are anarchists who want no government. That is a lie that is perpetrated by both the right and the left. Some libertarians lean anarchist, but the mainstream libertarian view is minarchism, believing in a small but necessary government to protect rights, enforce contracts, and provide defense. It is not about no government, it is about limited government. Another common misconception is libertarians support corporations over people. This is another huge misconception. Libertarians oppose corporate welfare, government bailouts, and monopolies created through government favoritism. I will be getting into the police with that one in a separate video. We believe in truly free markets where businesses succeed or fail on their own merits, not because of government handouts. Libertarians are utopian and out of touch with reality. Some critics argue that libertarianism is too idealistic, but history has shown that freer societies produce better outcomes. From economic prosperity to human rights, the alternative, more government control, which inevitably leads to inefficiencies, corruptions, and loss of personal freedom. Libertarians are selfish and do not care about the poor. That could not be further from the truth. And now this one's actually very personal to me. Some say libertarians just want to get rich and ignore social issues. But in reality, free markets and voluntary charity do more to lift the people out of poverty than any government program. We believe true compassion comes from people helping each other voluntarily, not through forced taxation and bloated welfare programs that create dependency on the government. And I'm going to go more into that too, like how a libertarian would actually truly rework the SNAP program and other such programs to make them more beneficial and less cost to the taxpayer. Why libertarianism is misunderstood by both the right and the left. Libertarianism is misunderstood by both the left and the right because it challenges core assumptions of both mainstream ideologies while borrowing elements from each in a way that neither side fully accepts, and here's why. The left see libertarianism as too capitalist and individualistic. Liberals and progressives often misunderstand libertarianism because of its strong stance on free markets and limited government intervention, the exact opposite of them. They tend to associate capitalism with corporate exploitation, believing that without regulations, business will harm workers, consumers, and their newest canard, the environment. But libertarians oppose government-mandated wealth redistribution and social welfare programs. The left often and wrongly assumes that libertarians are cold, selfish, or indifferent to issues like poverty and inequality. Yeah, I get told that a lot. Now, the right thinks libertarians are too radical and socially liberal. Conservatives often misunderstand libertarianism because of its strong stance on personal freedom, even though they claim to be the party of freedom and inclusivity. Interesting. Many on the right believe in government-imposed morality, whether it's restrictions on drug use, ban on same-sex marriages, or regulation on personal behavior. Libertarians, however, argue that the government has no business policing personal choices as long as they do not infringe upon the rights of others. Now, if today's episode made you think or made you ask some questions of yourself and question your assumptions, then let's keep the conversation going. This is going to be on YouTube. Follow me on social media. My handle is Jeffrey Metric over on TikTok. Subscribe to this podcast and let me know your thoughts. Are you a libertarian? Do you have questions or challenges to what I said? Let's talk about it. And if you find this valuable, share it with a friend. The more people understand what libertarianism is, it is hard for the government and media to misrepresent it. And as always, stay free and continue to be free. Have a great day.